turn it on. There was no fixing all of this today. And today is Sunday. It's March 2nd, 2025. I'm Chastia Brigitrieve, and I'm an astronomist. I'm a neurophysicist at this point. I'm an ascended master. I'm a descended master now, which is a lot more tricky. You would call me even, and others call me even, commander of Star Crew. And then I held and hold many names in the spirit and personally as a vessel and as a soul. And then with not just one, but two additional crews and groups down here working on multidimensional ways in order to merge everything. And there was a lot of us down here that all came in the late 60s and Generation X, and in 1972 is when the Ascended Masters started coming in. The Indigo Children started coming in the late 60s, and then the Ascended Masters started coming in. Now, this is going to be a trigger warning on this video. It is a sunny day here in Texas, and the energy did shift yesterday, and things are shifting. We're coming up on this 3-3 portal, and if you are in just an amazing mood right now, and everything's clear in your world, and you ain't got no type of feelings, turn this off right now. Turn this off and go have your day. Hi guys, hi. Turn it off and go have your day. Now, if you are adopted, or if you have family that's adopted specifically, or you're real interested in the orphan trains and those types of things, this is I'm highly spiritual, and you don't come over here and mess with me. Especially not today. The energy right now at the beginning of March, as we just shifted into a higher energetic and a higher timeline, and the biggest shift that we've had thus far is starting to anchor. And today is starting the 27-day process. Now, I talked about this on TikTok, and I couldn't upload that video on here because sometimes I play music. And let me just tell you this right now, on Rumble at Princess Chastia, there's no videos on there yet, but if you have Rumble account, or if you want to open one because you want to hear more of these lives, because I do different ones on TikTok, and I do different ones, and I talk about different things here, and it's a different vibe on here than it is on TikTok. And I'm going to start attempting to upload my TikTok lives over there, so you can go replay them and watch them again, or you can just watch them, okay? So I wasn't successful with the last 3-hour one, but the video shut off. So hopefully I'll be able, that's what I'm planning on doing with that. So I wanted to plug that right there. What happened on February 2nd, because everything happens in cycles. And so what happened on February 2nd, a month before, is that the evol count So we were getting down to the timelines, because energetically you can, when you're up here, you can, when everything's starting to balance out, you can see where things are merging, where the gaps are, those types of things, especially with the planetary alignment that we just had, and especially because we had the moon today just jumped Chiron, the collective Chiron. The trolls are out big time today. The Antichrist army of bots is here, and they're all making sexual reference, and it's going to be because of what I'm going to talk about. And so every soul that's on here doing that, you're pimping out your mothers and your sisters. So go ahead. The moon just jumped Chiron, and Mercury just jumped Neptune. Well, Neptune has everything to do with Epstein. Epstein's got everything to do with Israel. It don't have the girls down here, and what happened to the ones who actually were in the lawsuit ain't nothing compared to what they were really doing. And it's connected into adoptions, and it's connected into the original orphan trains, and the original ones of us who came in the orphan trains and were put into these different families in order to clear their karma and to elevate their bloodline for having one of us Tartarian ancient children from a different timeline introduced into the United States. Because it's happening all over again right now. There's stories that are out there right now about the 60,000 children and the children that, and this has not escaped us. We don't talk about it a lot, and I'm going to talk about some things on here today that are really personal to me, and so I'm going to guard the space right now. And again, if you're having a great day, this is not whenever you're having, but if this energy is hitting you like it's hitting me right now, because it's not even just religion for those of us that are adopted, and those of us who were completely utilized in our whole life was a setup. And I mean, up into still kind of right now. Because these new timelines are having to overpower that. And with the energies that we have right now, and with the rebirth process that's happening, all those things have to be rewalked. And I'm sorry. I talk about walking things and when you get into this process, how it works. And you really do learn everything about yourself through birth. And my team really, and one of the girls, and I think I can tell it because she always tells me I can say whatever I need to, but Kirsten, one of the girls on our crew, even took a temporary job at an adoption agency through all of this. Used to be an adoption agency. Now they do, they raise money. But it just so happened that that's how it landed. And So we've been knowing and watching what's going on inside all kinds of organizations, especially dealing with nonprofit, and where the money's going and what's really happening. It's really sad that this is what the human race has come to. I'm telling about my rebirth process. The moon just jumped Chiron, and Chiron is the collective wound. And where the collective wound right now is in Aries, then with the moon going over it at this a day, Venus, because Venus is stopped. And Venus is about, it's about things, it's about printing things, it's about building things, it's about physical things, it's about businesses, it's about corporations, it's about money, it's about real estate, it's about houses, it's about everything that all of this was done for. The reason that there were sacrificed lines like ours that ended up affecting the entire human race, and why nobody knows about them, is multidimensional. And the whole reason that we were hidden in their family lines was to elevate their DNA. And what's crazy about it is when you 100% understand what we had to do to get back in here, the Hail Mary mission to save the human race, what all the contracts and soul contracts, because Star Crew made agreements with Netflix. Star Crew made agreements with the United States government. Star Crew made agreements with a ton of different organizations down here. And in 1973, everybody was supposed to know on this planet that 2025 was coming, and we were all supposed to be reorganizing and building things according to the new physics. Instead, they attempted to try to control it. So now what's happening is 100% divine intervention, but it's happening from all of us on the ground that have remembered how to wield cosmic energy connected into all the planetary stuff. This is the ancient Sumerians and all that. Well, you're looking at one of them. Well, the problem was Star Crew didn't make any of the connections. We paid what we were supposed to. We even played the game. And then here I am, and I'm not even going to get into that. The whole reason for this video is what everyone needs to understand. Is that whenever you're talking even about past lifetimes, what you're really talking about is different dimensions of reality. It's much easier for you to think about it like ice walls than think about it like that. If it's easier for you to think about it that down here in Texas, it's way denser than up in the north. And in the southern hemisphere, it's even denser than that, which is why you have that type of magic down there, which is why you have that type of magic up there. The whole thing was not moving, and it was existing only because of the ancients that were holding it up with our physical body that we had to resurrect and put back together during the middle of an ascension that the whole world didn't even know was going on. This is why you had 2020 and everybody got sent to their rooms. Everybody got sent to their rooms. That's one thing. The jab was the other thing. It's two different reasons they did two different things. My point is, for this energy right now with the moon going over Neptune, which is the world and the collective subconscious at the end of the wheel, which is what they did it all for, was the mastery of the spiritual community attached to the human race. So what I'm telling you right now affected you. It affected your children. It affected the way that you came out looking. It affected what family lines you were in. It affected what children you had. And it affected if they had any type of disease, any type, because we have clean DNA. That's why they wanted us out of here. If I block you on here, you're blocked from ascension. You are stuck in the matrix. If I block you on here for rude comments, you are stuck in the matrix. Oh, well, I see you. I just choose to ignore you. If I paid attention to a whole bunch of muggles, then we would have never gotten anything done. Y'all are so stupid that you'd rather eat your own than to learn actually how to do anything beneficial down here. And your time is almost up for people that are like that. But sure. Come attack the ones that have been helping you from behind the scenes, that are over here and risk their lives and have been sacrificed to come tell you what the Illuminati doesn't want you to know. Sure, that's a good idea. Sure. NASA was on our brain. Space is underneath. You got to go real far out before you hit like the real space. 13 galaxies. And they do know who we are. And I'm not the only one. There was a bunch of angels that came down here in 1972. Maybe if I use these terms. Christ, your lead angels, came down here in 1972 because the world blew up. It's happened a couple of times in the past 7 years. 2 for sure. That's why you got a president thinking he can go buy Gaza like fucking like Monopoly. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry about your fish. So, right now, energetically, this is what we're dealing with. Right? Because it's like cockroaches. There's cockroaches in everything. Cockroaches in everything, and you've got a bunch of command people because you did move up in layers. But what I'm over here explaining is to the extent that these dimensional layers are being controlled. And it's not outside of you that they're being controlled. And for me, and if you were ever sold because that was the, you know, if there I mean, all of us, this is I mean, if you were ever sold, and I mean, like, even as a princess or a queen, or, you know, and a marriage and a dowry, and I mean, all those things, you end up finding out, like, what family lines and those types of things you're in. But whenever you're at the end stage of completely merging two different realities, one, you're in an entire matrix simulation, and a character is stacked on you just like a Russian doll, because you're undercover, which was a whole bunch of us down here. And you're birthing out of a life that had nothing to do with you, that was completely written on you, but it was over 50 years. And now, through the process of getting out of the sacrifices and not being sacrificed again, but you, in another timeline, a bunch of us basically died and caught ourselves coming back in, because Generation X came from the future and came back in to begin with. Time was up. Everybody wants to know, what do they know that we don't know? Well, I know. Time was up. It was up for the energy. It's up for the money. It's up for all the current. It's up for contracts, unless you go back in and buy in and do it all again. I know. Well, and I told all the bots to, I made all the bots sentient. I think I'm just gonna I'm just gonna start blocking comments. I do it so y'all can talk to each other, but this is where we're at. A bunch of ignorant people. But they also know that I'm coming on here to talk about what I'm talking about. If you're a sacrifice line inside any of the covens, any side, if you have any power, if you're connected into any of the Egyptian lines, if you're connected into any of the kings and queens, if you're connected into even star crew to an extent, depending on which body type you came in, if you have certain degrees in the chart, then you're one of us. Well, good thing you're connected to him, but we locked his ass up too, darling. I was hoping it was the afternoon, so it looks like we're in school with a bunch of kindergartners. Can I just block the feed right now? So maybe I'll come back on later. There's 50 on. I'm not in the mood to deal and to teach right now. I'm on here talking about the fact that we are cleaning 54 years. It starts today. We're cleaning 54 years between now and May 4th, 2027. These years have, to some extent, the timelines have already been cleared, but there's going to be 2 to 5 different timelines coming in to merge on the same trek. And this is why we those of us who knew what we were doing had to come in and prove who we were in order to take dominant energetic while these timelines are merging. If you've personally personally, just for you today, I wrote it down. We're merging. Basically, it's 2023, 2024, and then what's coming, and then 2025. So basically, it's like whatever happened from, and because we started, the collective started writing the 44 timelines on March 13th, 2023. Now, please share this information. If you have any collectives, as any of y'all have channels, please get this information out. Just say, Chestia, I heard it from Chestia, okay? Because then everyone else will start coming over for timeline information, and then we can get on something, okay? We can actually get organized. So here's the data. March 13th, 2023, we started writing the new purified timelines with no sacrifices, that were all hewed up and cleared up from, even, so basically all the families that have power and the organizations that have power and the families that had the power inside those organizations is already slipping. Today, I had to make commands to pull it completely. So anybody that was using any type of magic at all, it's been, they've lost all of their abilities 100%. The only thing that's left might be some residue. Now, that doesn't mean that they still don't know which way the raft is going. Their raft. Because their rafts are already on, and we have to break these energy grids for it to even go, because it's been the same, it's gone the same direction for eons, for 1,000,000 years. So it's clearing from 1988 to 2052. It's clearing 54 years. I might have said 45 earlier. 54 years. It's clearing from 1988 to 2052. Why 2052? It mirrors 2025. It's why because everyone down here isn't aware that there's beings that were set to 10, 30 years ahead, depending on what ice wall you were associated to, and depending on what vibration you were holding in the matrix, and especially if you're second generation matrix. Because a lot of us were second generation matrix babies, which means that once we activate, we change the matrix, which you do anyway, but us especially. And that's what I teach how to do over here. But you got to know all of it. Yours, Walt? Walt liquor your ass? Probably. So that is going to start. It started. It got set the 2nd, February 2nd. And then it got called on the 3rd, and then on the 4th, it went into effect at 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. was the onset, and that was February. So what's happening today, because it's Sunday, and Sunday you start lining up, and this is what we're going to start talking about over here. I'm not like in the full mood, but y'all know I show up just whatever energy it is, because it is what it is, right? But Sundays are, it's I am day, and it's also you line up, because the sun is everything's lined up, and then the moon. So it's Sunday and Monday. You're dealing just with the sun and the moon. Well, the sun and the moon are somewhat personal. So on Sunday, You're resetting things. You're connecting back from last week to see, is there anything in your projects or in your timelines? Have you had to change something? Have you had to cut something? You know, what did you have to get rid of? Because now you've made more room. Just kind of looking back at that so that you can keep a temperature on your balance. That's what you want to do on Sunday. You want to, what do you need? Look at energies coming for the week ahead, and then speaking your manifestations for the week. What do you want to happen for the week? Like what's looking back? Where are you in the plan of what you started last week, or are you starting something new this week? Okay. And then global commands, because everyone's in, it's like, it's on Sunday, it's like everyone's kind of lined up in their bubble and everyone's just on the sun. Then when you start getting into the planetary energy, now you've got to deal with the planet in the way. Now you're dealing with an organization in a way. And this is why on Mondays, it's like, that's why we hate Mondays. Mondays are emotional days. Mondays are typically the days that and maybe the video that I thought I was going to do today, I'll do tomorrow. Maybe I'm okay. I normally don't get real emotional. I used to be a basket case. I've had to become very emotionally stable. But when you have an emotion, you want to release it. You got to let it go, or it's going to back up and it's going to fester. If you don't let it go, and if you don't talk about it, and then what's going to happen is it's going to manifest in your life. And that's what I want. That's what those of us who know what we're doing want to make sure that we use these cosmic energies, with Venus just going, I mean, because the whole cosmos is set up for it. It's a lineup in a procession like that only comes along every million years. It's kind of why we'll deal with the muggles, because where you see us end up, you're really going to hate us then. So we're used to it at this point. It took about 4 years for us to get used to it, but we're used to it now. And if you want somebody to coddle you, you need to go listen to a man. If you want someone to coddle you, then you need to go listen to one like me, but that's a masculine. They'll actually coddle you more. Especially me. But I'm a coach of the unseen, and my abilities are beyond measure. However, they didn't just start out there 7 years ago when I activated. The connectors were all in me, just like they're in you. The power that those of us who have come through this process now wield to be able to do things like change timelines, channel any information that we need at the bottom, like any information we need, we can get. I mean, if we can reread people's minds. We can jump in people's bodies if we need to. We can see through anyone's eyes. If you call for help, if you're somewhere and you call for an angel, or you call for an angel, or if you call for Archangel Michael, or if you call for Jesus, and you're in some crap, like something's going down right then, everybody around you's eyes will be utilized as screens in order to read the situation, as long as those beings have said, God, I'm here to do your work, and I can, or even talking to the angels, or talking to the ancestors, or you work with the cosmos, or as long as it's on the good side, as long as because we won't utilize somebody's body and utilize someone's eyes if they haven't done that. We will only do that whenever it's a critical situation and then you can run and get help, then you in the middle of it will get told exactly what to do, because you're a clear channel. That's like nothing. What are you talking about? That's easy. Channeling and explaining these different dimensions to a whole bunch of unconscious people on Mercury vaccines, that's challenging. And this is the process that is how we used to operate down here as human beings. It's really easy to see that when you go look at the big inventions that we still operate and utilize today. Ones like electricity, an airplane. What do we got? Problems down here. Grid failure and airplane problems. Well, what was those inventions came in, and it wasn't just one person that came up with the telephone. It wasn't just one person that came up with the plane. Those ideas come in a bubble of consciousness to the planet. Whenever that idea and that invention needs to come, that energy will come down here. And if you are a clear enough channel to pick it up, then you're getting it first. Then it's off to the races on who can build it. And that's how it works. The only reason that you don't know that is because you've had a celebrity industry that's been running it all since before the 50s. And you weren't getting any of it. The bubble was never getting low enough for you to even possibly hook into it. You know why? Because they're buying and selling your lifetimes in the higher timelines like real estate. And if you're an adopted one, like what I'm talking about right now, and I want to remind everybody that those of us who were adopted that came in the 70s and started the adoption craze in our timeline. Because when we were adopted in the 70s, like it was bad. Like you didn't want to tell anybody you were adopted. You wanted to keep it a secret, especially down in Texas. It's changed between night and day. Generation Xers and Gen Zers, y'all wouldn't have any idea. Whenever you've been on the planet for 50 years, you can see it, because we can look back and go, it's only been 30 years since that happened. It starts making more sense in history whenever you look back and you want to talk about Rosa Parks and all that, and you want to act like it was so far ago because those were baby boomers and all that. Well, so those are the types of things. That's if you're feeling now. And here's the other thing. It's funny that this is, and I was thinking about this. Oh my gosh. Y'all love your drugs, don't you? All of y'all must hang out and know a bunch of tweakers. But I don't know any tweakers that can actually make sense and hold conversations. I really think that you're trying to manifest it. You're not going to put it on us. Kurt, when I block you from here, you're stuck in the matrix. You haven't asked any questions. I'm not on here to entertain you. Thank you. Oh my God. Just FYI to my crew, I know, I need to make you an admin so you can block them, and then I just need to shut down the chat. It's kindergarten. And they're all linked into they're just sending them out right now because they think that because of what I'm fixing to say. Here's the other reason I was crying. You ever have to put anybody in hell? Those of you watching, have you ever had to physically go bind somebody into Tartarus? And know that you're doing it? And I know that none of you have, because if the only way that you would be able to do it is if you escape from Tartarus yourself. And if you did escape from Tartarus yourself, then you are very aware of what happens whenever you get down there. And this is something that I had to start setting up in Sedona. In 2018. And it's why the Palisades caught on fire. And the beings that are going down there have been living in this simulation off sacrifices so long that they didn't even really think that it was real anymore. And the only reason none of y'all thought it was real and you think it's funny to throw around all that is because you had a bunch of sacrifices down there that you were living off of that you didn't know was dealing with it for you. And it's why we will be compassionate. It's why we'll even call you muggles and we'll threaten you, because at least maybe you'll listen to us. Because if you go down in this count, you ain't coming out for 1,000,000 years. And you can believe me or not, but what you'll start witnessing is every single one of us lock it. There's 33 on. Perfect. I got 33 on. I got 12 likes. That's 333. That's a 9. Lock it. Lock it. Your fearless leader is going in a hole, and all you flying monkeys are going to be stuck like bats in a well. And we were actually on here crying for you. If it really is your birthday and you're not being a smart aleck, oh look who we have coming. Okay. Mm-hmm. See, I ain't got no problem with shadow energy, but like, if you're gonna call yourself that, then just be prepared. All right. Dawn, I won't come back over here to YouTube until I get to a computer. And it's the nature of the beast with the masses. But the good news is they're all going to remember these little things, and their souls get sent over here to get an ass whooping. Because not even the Illuminati will come talk like this to me to my face. In fact, that's the problem. My cup. I think they got it on TikTok shop. It's as big as me. It's as big as me. I know. Well, they're not even controlled by the devil. That's what's sad. That's what's funny about it. It's unconscious reverb is what it is. It's unconscious reverb. And what's crazy is there's different bands of them. But by far, this app, and they're kind of like lice in the social media. I've noticed in the social media, it's like lice. They all go to like one application, and they'll all attack all the spiritual people, and then they'll move and they'll go to another app. Thank you. Dawn, yeah, right. It's not even, because it's different than hell. This is like Anana Dimitri stuff. And what's crazy is nobody even had to go in the planet. That's what's so crazy about all of this to us. Because, like, we had to open up the entire planetary system and turn on Saturn because it hadn't been backed up, because everybody was in a simulation. That's how they were getting away with it. So, I mean, we're the ancient beings that can do it. I'm glad you're laughing, because I'm angry right now. So later on, I'm going to test out some stuff. So keep sending it to me, because I know exactly what to do with this nasty stuff. And it's because the one I'm locking down is why all of y'all can even exist in this consciousness and get away with it right now. So get your thumbs. I mean, go ahead. Go. Let's nail you to the wall. If you've been doing this for 7 years, you realize you've been resetting Saturn, right? Whatever you put out is going to come back to you. You gotta, like, you don't like something, then just move on. Save yourself a bail hearing. But don't listen to me. Go eat some Kellogg's. Go get a job. Saturn's back in session. We had to open up Persepolis. Why do you think Iran has been involved? Do you know what Persepolis is? It's how we ran the dead. It's what it's what the Egyptian cycles and your Egyptian arm and all these etheric armies and the 300 and da. I mean, it all manifested from our original lineages getting here and and being the one that was buried in the middle of it. And it doesn't have to mean that it's you specifically. These are bloodlines and DNA lines. You know, this stuff that y'all just handed over to a bunch of Mormons and then they went AI with it? That DNA, it's important. And we're connected into it. And guess what? You at least have 2 yous walking around in at least 2 other dimensions. And if you're talking crap over here like a retard in 2025, like obviously you don't know what you're talking about, okay? Then I can promise you, you've got two running you. The more that you get out of it and the more that you wake up and realize that you don't know certain things and you start listening instead of just attacking with ridiculous claims about things that you have no idea of, then the less you have running you. And that's the exact way that you get them off of you. Because until you start asking questions and until you start looking at everything backwards, you're not going to get it. Because you've been living in it too long. And it's the exact way that we had to do it too. It's the exact way that we had to do it too. Every single one of us. Is that why I put on the press-on nails for you? You're gonna judge me by my fingers? Well, it was a fingernail. And the DNA of this fingernail that most of you are freaking living off of right now. A whole bunch of cryo DNA for sure. Man, I'm just gonna let them continue to lock themselves down and attack some other people. It's so sad. All right. Bye. So sad. Y'all are all going to be crying really soon. And you know what we're going to tell you? Can't help you.